Hello and welcome back to another JumboCast presentation of NCAA Division III Women's Soccer. We've got a NESCAC matchup for you today between your Tufts University Jumbos and the Colby College Mules. The visitors come into this game riding a hot start at 3-0, including a surprise win over Bowdoin. Last time they won in that matchup, Barack Obama had just been elected for the first term of his presidency. The Jumbos, meanwhile, sit at 1-1, following a narrow defeat at Williams last weekend. By the rankings, number 22 Tufts are the favorites against the unranked Mules, but these teams split the points last season, and the stage is set for a similarly exciting matchup today. Anything can happen. I'm David Latham. Joining me on the mic are my good friends Max Antonini and Micah Baum. Gentlemen, Max, what can we expect from these teams today?
I mean, it should be an exciting NESCAC matchup. It's a beautiful day out here on Bello, and as you mentioned before, it's been a pretty electric start for the Colby College Mules, going 3-0, and with that massive win against Bowdoin, they're going to be riding into this game with a lot of confidence, thinking they can take on any NESCAC opponent. And for Tufts, obviously they came off that tough loss against Williams, but we know this team is resilient. We know this team is strong, given their run into the Final Four last year. And with Elsie Aries with already 2 goals, I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, historic start to the season so far for Colby. Micah, why don't you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, it definitely is. As we say, that opened the season with a 9-0 win over St. Joseph's College of Maine, the biggest program win since 2003, with a 9-0 win that time over Husson College. This time around, they outshot the Monks 30-0. Followed that up with a 1-0 win at Bowdoin. As you say, the first time since 2009 they have won against their local rivals, and second time in school history, outshooting the Polar Bears 13-5. Again, Bowdoin was a team that made the NCAA third round last year. That is certainly nothing to sniff at. And to top that all off with a 3-2 comeback win over the University of Southern Maine, they've managed to make it their first 3-0 start since the start of the 21st century.
We'll rise for the anthem. And without further ado, let's jump into our starting lineups for today's game. For Colby, up top, it is Abby Jarvie, number 32, and the senior captain, Sophie DeGrande, number 4. In the midfield, Avery Barton, Madison Genser, and Iwa Leskow. And then the 5 at the back, Sarah Watchman, number 26, Annie Lee Bosch, Fatih Salifu, Semi DeWitt, the team minutes leader so far, and Alexis Triantafoulis. And for your home team Jumbos, up top, it's Elsie Aries, accompanied on the wings by Waverly Sumner and Nicola Summers. In the midfield, it's the trio of Reese Birch, Caroline Kelly, and Emily Nicholas. In the back, holding it down for the Jumbos, Jordan Kushner, Caroline O'Neill, Lena Segru, and Kate Holzberline. The goalie for the Jumbos will be Gigi Edwards, number 35, and for Colby, MK Marshall, number 30.
So as you're saying, pretty much the lineups we've been expecting heading into this game. I think we saw a lineup in that first Tufts game against Emerson, something a bit new given the injuries to Maggie Rogers. So Coach Martha Whiting having to adjust for her back 4, but this seems like their top 11 heading into the main part of their season, heading into these NESCAC games. So I think Coach Whiting might look to rotate as the game progresses, but as we know, she's not a huge fan of rotation, of substitutions.
Definitely. In that Williams game, which they're coming off of a 2-1 loss to the Eves, they only made 5 substitutions in their NESCAC opener. In contrast, Williams made 11 substitutions in that game. It'll be interesting to see if Whiting delves deeper into her bench today or if she sticks with her trusted close associates.
Yeah, and for the Colby College Mules, I mean, coming off that season opener, a 9-0 victory, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And to completely rout your opponent like that, it's really something special for this team. And I think it gave them that confidence heading into that Bowdoin game and then the third match against USM. So this should be a great matchup. We know in their history, in the past 2 matchups, it's been a game of defender goals. Lita Segru with a brace in 2022 in her freshman year, which resulted in a 3-1 victory for the Jumbos. And last year, Caroline O'Neill getting on the score sheet, which ended 1-1. So it could be a repeat of that, but also in that 1-1 matchup, the late goals. We've seen that so many times. I know you know about that, Micah.
We definitely have. Last year, it was a big issue. In the last 15 minutes of games, the Jumbos were outscored at 10-4. And we were wondering how Coach Wedding would address that this year. So far, we haven't seen much change. Williams scored a late winner in the 86th minute, as Colby did in this fixture last year in the 77th minute. So this will be something Colby will be hoping to exploit as we get towards the latter stages.
And kicking off for Colby will be number 4, Sophie DeGrande, junior captain. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. She'll drop it back to Elo Leskow. Sends it over to the wing. Kushner on ball. Sends it down. It's a foot race between Segru and DeGrande. The former wins it, and it's cleared by Gigi Edwards. Reese Birch and Fatih Salifu going up for a ball. And they'll drop it back to MK Marshall. What are some players to watch for the game today, guys, as we get started here?
I mean, for Tufts, it's undoubtedly Elsie Aries. I mean, she is a stellar component of this side and has really been the carry for a lot of Tufts offense.
I think if you're looking on the Colby side, is somebody trying to tee this one up?
Kelly, some footwork, a shot. Oh, hello! How about it? 1 minute, 1 goal. Are you kidding me?
Caroline Kelly, maybe we should have called her name out. That was a rocket to the top of the net. What a start. I mean, doesn't get any better than that.
And one thing I was going to say, if you hadn't said Elsie Aries, I would have called out Waverly Sumner picking up the assist there. We've seen her so much cutting in off of that left side onto her right foot and just saw Kelly in space. Great move from the midfielder to open up so much space and got so much power behind it. Blasted it past Marshall.
We know she's a great assister, led the team in assists last year, but how about that for a shot? 1-0 Jumbos within the first minute.
And as you said, Sumner really good from that spot. I mean, in the Emerson game, we saw her do that exact same pull-in, and then she hit it herself to the top corner. This time, drops it off to Kelly, a little bit of shifty footwork, and that's one for the highlight tape. You'll be seeing that on Instagram later.
And Sumner also with a fantastic
Nicholas
goal in the first game.
Slide. Yeah. Nicholas fighting for the ball. Nice takeaway. Aries sends it up. And Sumner will wind up at it ahead of Triantafyllis. Sends it to the middle. Reese Birch can't control the ball. Drops out, and Colby will run. It's Madison Genser. Looking at the wings. Drops it back to Elo Leskow. Sends it up on the wing to Abby Jarvie, and she can't control it with Kushner in pursuit.
That could be an interesting battle to watch. You saw Jarvie really exploiting her pace. Won the battle against Jordan Kushner, just too much on the ball in the end. But that will be a key battle to watch, as Jarvie has been a key component for the Mules offense so far.
And on those wings as well, you have Kate Holzberline stepping in for the injured Maggie Rogers. So I think she's starting to get warmed up into this NESCAC play.
Sammy DeWitt sends it long. Segru beats Grande to the ball and sends it out of bounds. It'll be a Colby throw-in.
Going back to those players to watch for Colby, I think Sammy DeWitt is certainly one of those second-team All-NESCAC last year, the only honoree on the Colby team in terms of conference honors. She also scored the winning penalty against Bowdoin to break that 13-year drought. So she will have a lot on her mind coming into this game, certainly a key component.
Fight on the wing. Sumner knocks it out of bounds. Yeah, you mentioned DeWitt. Her and Salifu, the two leading minutes leaders from last season, second and third behind the outgoing senior Cromwell. They'll be looking to them to support this team. Really solid in the back, where they sub a lot less than up top.
Yeah, and with that 5-in-the-back play that we've seen Colby use, that means they're going to have a solid base, but they're also going to be looking to attack from the outside. And Salifu, I think, definitely one to watch. Pacey winger hails from Ghana on the left-hand side.
Lee Bosch up into the middle. It's a well-placed ball, but it's headed out by Reese Birch. Nicholas Summers will try to control. Lee Bosch winds up with the ball again. Aries a good challenge. Lee Bosch maintains control. Nicely played. Out on the wing, it's Avery Barton. She'll look to cross. Does so. Dropped out, and Caroline Kelly will clear it. Or will she? Colby maintaining some pressure. Drop off to Birch on the wing. Triantafyllis steps up, but decides to have a second guess at it. Sends it over to Kushner, intercepted.
Yeah, Kushner had a lot of space on that right side. Definitely would have preferred to have a stronger ball, but she seemed to be loads of space.
Fadi Salufu wants it in the center. Drops it off to Leskow. Nicholas Summers surveys. Takes it right. Good use of the body by Madison Genser to clear it out. Genser draws back. And Colby will set up in the back as Tufts calls out for the press. Semi DeWitt. Nice control. Drop off to DeGrande. Leskow. Hit back by Holzberline. Holzberline and Barton fighting for the ball, and Barton's the one who wins it. Centering pass. But Kushner holds off Jarvie when it matters most, and Gigi Edwards is wiping her brow after Jarvie was almost able to get under that one.
Yeah, that could have been bad. I mean, a bit of miscommunication between the center-back pairing. It seemed to be a dangerous ball hanging right around the 6-yard box, but good fight there from Holzberline. Just couldn't get the best of her woman, but decent passing play from Colby. You saw in the middle there, lots of 1-2s, lots of triangles. Definitely seem to be very deserving of their 3-0 record so far.
Jarvie with a goal, 2 goals and an assist so far this season. Nearly got another one there as she made a fantastic run in to meet that ball from Barton.
Triantafyllis up on the ball. Barton, Birch on the wing. Sumner, one-on-one with DeWitt. Triantafyllis back to collect the ball. And Captain Sarah Watchman will reset up to DeGrande.
With Sarah Watchman, one of only 3 seniors on this team, and really the only one that gets regular minutes. So this Colby side is definitely a very young group, and they're very resilient as well with their younger members really stepping up for this program.
I think a huge part of that for both teams, in fact, is the sophomore class. Colby, half of their starting 11, 6 players, is made up of their sophomore class. For the Jumbos, I think it's about 5. Certainly outsized representation.
I think having that experience of the Final Four last year gives them so much experience and valuable time in high-stakes situations. So I think for this freshman class, or now sophomore class, they have an excellent future ahead of them.
And Tafyllis assessing her options, sees Watchman. Nice ball against her. And now Colby on the run. Jarvie. Oh, really cheeky little give and go. But Kushner cuts it out and will hold Jarvie off ball.
Will be a corner there. Kushner trying to shield it away, but managed to get her foot on it and flicked out of bounds. So good press there from Colby, but could be a costly mistake there from Kushner.
Yeah, she was trying to use the body and let it roll out, and Jarvie not letting up on the pressure, and it will create a chance. Up to the center. Ball bounces around. Gigi Edwards collects. Routine.
And Gigi Edwards being another one of those sophomores that has been so excellent, stepping in for Kiana Hill midway through last season. She's been incredibly reliable. An outstanding foul there on Caroline Kelly. But as I was saying, Edwards has been outstanding. And I think she had a record 11 saves against Trinity last year, the most in a single game in the NESCAC. So Gigi Edwards, expert at keeping clean sheets.
Yeah, and it's, you know, for Bowdoin, they've had an easier time of it in goal. MK Marshall has this season. So far, the defense has really stepped up from, and we can talk about this a little bit, a rough defensive season last year that saw her take a lot of shots on goal. So far, I mean, in that Bowdoin game, I think she had to make one save, was it?
Only conceded 5 shots.
Yeah. It's so far, this defensive lineup has been good at stopping shots. Obviously, they gave up in the first minute today, but since then, it's looked more even.
These were the 2 worst defenses per game in the NESCAC last year. Colby conceding 1.53 per game, some way ahead of Tufts in second to last, I should say. So it's not necessarily surprising we've already seen a goal, and we could well see several more.
Yes, it is. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, and right as I said, last season, Colby goalies had to make 78 saves, while opponents only had to make 51, and yet they were outscored 23-21. So this is a team that likes to take a lot of shots, but they're giving up higher quality chances than they're getting, at least last season.
And speaking of shots, I mean, Aries is the leader of that in so many facets. She already has 9 on the season, and she hasn't been as involved, having to do a bit more of defensive dropping back, but I know that Colby will have 2 women assigned on her at all times.
And as we've seen, when you do that, sometimes somebody winds up a little more open, and that's when you give up a first-minute goal, but they seem to have readjusted. Speaking of, Genser, nice takeaway. Bosch tries from really deep. And Emily Nicholas was able to get in front of it. Waverly Sumner with Triantafilus on her back. Nicholas, nice pullback move on Bart. O'Neill from the back. Sumner. Circling. Birch.
Colby pressure here has been looking really good so far. Tufts has struggled a bit to progress comfortably out of the back.
Yeah, and Tufts forced to collect the ball and, you know, feeling a Colby defender on the back, having to pass it back. So far, they've been doing a decent job in the midfield.
Another example there on Caroline Kelly, really suffocating the play out the back.
Yep, and ever since that first-minute goal, she and Genser have not left each other's sides. Summers on the wing, using her body on Jarvie. We knocked out of bounds by Sarah Watchman. Kelly.
Another foul on Kelly. She seems to be very stuck in the middle of things, very involved in these first 10 or so minutes. I mean, she is, I think, a key linchpin in that Tufts midfield. And I think with the partnership of newly added Reese Birch and Emily Nicholas featured for the latter half of last season as well, they've been very strong, very composed.
And once again, it's Genser with the foul on Kelly, and they wind up walking back together towards the box. This seems like it'll be a matchup to watch now for the rest of the game. Genser playing a little bit more of a defensive mid for Colby. She's one of their most solid defenders in the midfield. Birch takes a look around and sends it wide for Summers.
Lovely floated ball out to Summers on the wing.
And a well-timed interjection from Fadi Salifu.
Yeah, Reese Birch had a bit of time there to pick her head up, find an open pass, and when that pressure relieves, that gives Tufts midfielders the chance to open up.
Summers through central. Ayers drops it off. Kelly. Oh, my goodness. And the defense is thanking MK Marshall for a gorgeous save. Kelly with a perfectly placed ball, and it's just not enough.
I mean, what a hand to get onto that. A firm hand to send it past the crossbar. I mean, fantastic from the junior keeper, MK Marshall. But the pressure's not done yet.
Segru, one chance, two chance, red chance, blue chance. Aries, MK Marshall, and it's cleared from the side. And
To follow up.
ooh,
Going back to that chance that led to the corner, you were talking earlier about how when you're double marking Aries, then you might leave someone open. Aries clearly knows that. She is facing her back to goal. She knows she doesn't need to turn. Caroline Kelly in a perfect position, gets another fantastic shot off, and as you mentioned, just incredible save there from MK Marshall to keep Colby down by only 1.
And Segru with the double chance as well. We mentioned her. She loves a goal against Colby, so almost got on the score sheet there, but 2 chances, 2 blocks. I mean, fantastic pressure there from Tufts. This is very encouraging, and I think they're definitely going to want a second one to pile on their lead.
Especially knowing how prone they've been to conceding late goals, not least against this Colby team.
I like that one chance, two chance, red chance, blue chance. That was smart.
Thanks, Max. Try my best. Drop off to Aries on the wing, but Watchman gets there in time. And yeah, we saw MK Marshall. I think she got a hand on that for a second save, but it was still looked like it was destined for goal. Alexis Triantafoulis in the spot when it's needed most. That's the benefit of that 5-back approach.
Yeah, goal line clearance. I mean, that's as good as a goal if you're a defender. So very resilient from the Colby defense, but encouraging signs, as I said, for Tufts. I mean, this three-headed attack of Aries, Sumner, and Summers, it seems to be functioning pretty well.
My grandfather always said, a NESCAC soccer goal saved is a NESCAC soccer goal earned.
Grandfather had some weird thoughts.
Yeah, he watched a lot of NESCAC soccer. Caroline Kelly for a second one. Nope, dropped it off, and it's high and wide.
Aries will want that one back, but still good find, good feed from Kelly. Again, very involved so far, and Aries leaning back a bit too much on that one, sending it over the crossbar. But, I mean, the link-up play has been fantastic, and I think they're going to want to keep them here.
And now they know they can't leave Kelly open like that. Kelly led the team second led the team in shots behind LC Aries last year with 50. Only got 2 goals, but she is very willing and able to take a shot when she needs to.
And MK Marshall will take a second on the ground. She's had to do a lot of work.
And good idea there. 1-2 between Birch and Summers. Could have worked out a bit of a bobbling ball, but MK Marshall alert to it and ready to punt.
And obviously that's routine pickup for her, but still has to keep her head on a swivel as Tufts bounces around up top. Emily Nicholas, Sumner wide, DeWitt, and again, Colby getting across well to those drop-offs on the wings. Avery Barton controlling, and Caroline Kelly will be the one who stops the play up to Madison Genser.
You know, in the home opener against Emerson, it was Emily Nicholas running midfield, but today Caroline Kelly has just been everywhere in offense and defense, making tackles, making dribbles, taking shots, making goals. It's been the Caroline Kelly show so far.
Genser, oh, cheeky little move, pull back. I did that in FIFA once. Drops back to Fatih Salifu. And we'll take a look at our options. Once again, Colby trying to get something out of the midfield, and Jordan Kushner will be the one who says, I don't think so. Possession maintained, though.
Quite a great crowd out here as well. I mean, bleachers seem pretty full. You have some signs of support on both sides, and it is homecoming weekend, so I'm sure both sides are loving the home and away support.
Sammy DeWitt. Emily Nicholas, Reese Birch, and Annie Lubash go up for it, and Tufts winds up on the up. Drop off to Summers. MK Marshall once again having to come out of her crease and make an intervention.
And you see Elsie Aries scanning as she's receiving the ball, looking for pockets of space, and almost had it there for Summers. I mean, such an intelligent attacker, the junior. Very, very close through ball, almost connected, but I think this attack is firing so far.
Up to Summers on the wing. Nice chip in to Birch. Sarah Watchman's the one who gets in the way. And Avery Barton will come back for the ball on the wing. Oh, sorry. Really nice move.
Turned French there for a second. Nice chop, though. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the
We
translation.
got Google Translate here.
Michael, you know some French.
I do. I don't think they've mentioned that. in
That
class.
was my pronunciation.
No comment.
Segru.
Oh, lovely turn.
Emily Nicholas. That one's in the textbook. Reese Birch. Both teams doing a really good job cutting off options in the midfield. Nice ball over to Sumner. Chop off to Caroline Kelly. Sumner again. Sumner's on the wing, and she can't catch up with it in time. The ball just 3-4 feet from where she wanted it.
But still, very encouraging signs. The switch of play out to Sumner. I think she's had a lot of running to do. Probably will see a rotation of her at some point this half, but she's been fantastic. And those switches of play really allow you to cut inside, cut into the box where there is a weaker side. But with this 5 in the back that Colby have set up with, it does make it tougher to find those gaps.
It was interesting there is Summers drifted over onto this left side with Sumner. Meanwhile, Birch and Kelly both moved over to the right. That fluidity in midfield to attack is something you like to see. Just couldn't make it pay off that time.
Watchman. Holzbroin cuts it out. And the Tufts bench cheering him on after a nice header a few minutes ago out from the Holzbroin. Way to go.
Ball coming over towards us. We're involved in the play.
Sophie DeGrande. Nice read up to Barton. And DeGrande had to go with it from pretty deep.
Yeah.
Ambitious, but it looked nice. Just a little high.
Half cross, half shot. I mean,
Yep.
kind of just a hopeful ball, but again, DeGrande, good work there. The junior captain. I mean, they're gonna be reliant on her being in the goal lead for the Colby College Mules with 3 already.
Birch, Kushner. Screw will try to clear it out of this zone. Up top. Ela Leskow sort of sandwiched there between Elsie Aries and Caroline Kelly, and it goes out of bounds, jumbo ball. Fatih Salifu with a nice play on the ball to control it away from Nicola Summers. Colby in the back. As the first subs of the game step up to the center for Colby, it's number 9, Jane McGuire, and for Tufts, Anna Griffin and Erin Duncan looking to get their first minutes.
Yeah.
Emily Nicholas drop off, Holzberline surveys. Segru approaching midfield, drop off for Kushner. And Colby still maintaining the solid pressure. Areas of the mistimed drop off to Salifu. And Grandeo. Avery Barton is fast, but not quite that fast. Over ambitious on the cross, and Holzberline will control.
This is time for Tufts defense to, reset, take their time, kind of see their options and build out from the back.
22 minutes of play down. Pretty even since that first minute goal. What can Colby do to set the record even here?
I think one of the big things is keeping this pressure going. They've had a couple of times when they've forced turnovers. They haven't gotten them so high up the field yet as Kelly's going to take the foul there. But if they can keep this pressure up and make the Jumbos make a mistake in their own defensive third, they have the kind of players who can capitalize on that in Barton, in Jarvie, in DeGrande. And I think that will be something they'll be looking to do, is they're certainly putting the Jumbos in an uncomfortable position so far.
But what Kelly's been doing so well is absorbing that pressure, drawing the fouls, and then giving Tufts another chance to reset. But as we see on the stat sheet, 6 shots for Tufts, only 1 for Colby so far. So can't get a goal without a shot. So I think that has to be their number 1 objective so far. Tufts back 4 has been so strong so far. So Colby just need to get more looks.
MK Marshall with another save, fairly routine grounder, and will stop play as Kate Holzbrine needs a minute after.
Hard tackle there. But good spin, good turn there from Aries in the box there. Not quite as much power as she would have liked, but again, another shot on goal. I think she that's what her specialty is. So fantastic job there from Aries, but as we've seen, MK Marshall very resilient as well, and comfortable save for her.
Yeah, I think you would have expected Aries to put it in that near post from that position. She chose to go far post, and Marshall was more than capable. But this, meanwhile, is not a good sign. Kate Holzberline is still down, and this is an area where the Jumbos have already had an injury in Maggie Rogers. if you look to their depth options in that area, you could bring on potentially center back to play in that area. You could also bring on Emma Finnerty for her first involvement. She a first year coming in, but that is a question that Coach Martha Whiting will hope she does not have to answer right now.
Yeah, this would not serve very well. As we know, we mentioned that Colby wing attack is very strong. I mean, we saw a few minutes for Rachel Arcella, the sophomore as well. Maybe she could feature, but I think, yeah, this is a headache you definitely don't want, and you want to be using those subs in attack. Obviously, there isn't a limit on subs, but you want to be have the freshest legs possible.
Hale Sperline is up and walking off with aid, which is a good sign.
And something we saw from one of the graduated seniors last year, Maddie Silvera. I mean, she could play everywhere. She was so versatile, and I think she did a great job of filling in. So obviously they don't have her anymore, but as
looks like Arcella's coming in. That could also mean that O'Neill goes out to left back, as you've seen her play there as well. Arcella naturally a center back, but looks like she's going to start at left back for the moment.
sorry, national anthem randomly played, but yeah, Arcella. Oh, switching out to the right now, it seems, and then yeah, as you mentioned, O'Neill will be playing out on the left. Something she was good at when Olivia Pats was center back and Segru would fill in. So I think she is very comfortable in that role, but will be an important first few minutes for Arcella as she warms up, gets into this game. I mean, being called on suddenly, you don't have time to warm up necessarily, so she'll need to be alert for sure on that right hand side now.
Interesting, we got the injury sub in there, but the other subs are still waiting on the sideline. I believe Jay McGuire.
Jay McGuire did enter the game for Colby. Kylie Thorpe also up to the bench now to sub in, but the Tufts subs remain here on the sideline with us as Fatty Salif, who draws it up towards the middle line.
Fatty Sleuth, who said in the recent Deathcack feature that last book she read was The Maze Runner. She's looking like a pretty mazy runner herself.
Yeah, you can catch that on the NESCAC website. She was featured in the Friday column.
Something also I noticed, pre-game warm-up song, Can't Hold Us. Pretty solid. I got to respect it. Now the subs coming in now. Erin Duncan and Anna Griffin for the two subs. Waverly Sumner and Nicholas Summers. They look pretty tired, but deservedly. I mean, they put in so many runs, so much good effort, and that's definitely positions they want to have rotation on. So Erin Duncan and Anna Griffin will finish out this first half, presumably.
And they'll face a couple new matchups, including Kylie Thorpe, who comes in the back for Colby, replacing Sarah Watchman. Triantafyllis, Birch, Caroline Kelly, ooh, shifty little move. Drops it off for Duncan, who didn't quite see it coming and has to watch it go out of bounds.
Bit too much on it there, but again, such good work from Caroline Kelly, moving away from the defender, using her body well, and looking for those pockets of space. Another good win. Fantastic.
Kelly against her matchup, remaining physical, and Kelly this time knocks it out wide to Anna Griffin, who's on the run. But on the run from Fadi Salifu is not always a good way to be, as she creates a little chaos around the feet and knocks it out.
Goal kick for Colby, and another sub going to come in.
Claire Walsh.
Claire Walsh taking over for Ella Luscal. How do you think? I mean, this is Seth Benjamin's first year as Colby head coach. How do you think he'll feel heading into his first season? I mean, we know he had success at USM, but this is obviously a step up from that.
It definitely is. He was, as you say, two-time coach of the year at USM, beat Colby last year in his final year, then avenged that loss against himself with a 3-2 win in their last time out. But this is really the best start he could have possibly asked for, this game notwithstanding. Again, 3-0 start, win in the NESCAC. That is huge. It's a big step up, definitely, but one other thing you could say is that he has NCAA tournament experience. Colby, as a program, do not.
Reese Birch, Alcieri's on the wing. Sends it up high. Oh, and Anna Griffin able to get under it, but just off to the right. And once the subs have started, they have not stopped. Here's another set. Eve O'Reilly and Marin Jones into the game for Tufts, replacing Kelly and Birch, Meanwhile, for Colby, DeGrande will come out. Who else did? And number 19, Ella Carlucci, goes into the game, along with the captain off the bench, number 14, Charlotte Johnson.
And I think this is good rotation from Martha Whiting's, replacing those two wingers, replacing two in the midfield, and I think they're just as capable. So I think this is very encouraging if you're a tough supporter, because I think that's something they kind of lacked as they progressed into the later part of the season, later part of the regular season at least, was getting people good game experience, especially as fatigue wore on. But yeah, good features now for Maren Jones, first year, and Aoife O'Reilly, the junior.
And both teams sort of reading the other side's subs, trying to get the matchups they like. You can't feel it over your computer or television, but it is a warm, sunny day here at Bello. Good to get those starters' legs a rest. Anna Griffin. And the ref calling another moment as Fatih Salifu
The cleat issue.
took it seconds down.
Seems like the sole
Yep.
has come off. Equipment.
Oof.
Kitman needs to get some new boots for Fatih Salifu.
She was a little too fast. No boot can keep up.
I'm thinking of the Zion Williamson moment.
Yeah.
So while she deals with that, that'll be Mia Sullivan filling in for Salifu in the back.
Mia Sullivan, one of a few freshmen who gets minutes for this team. Ella Carlucci also now into the game. They're not afraid to play freshmen. Tufts doesn't start freshmen, but Colby is a little bit of a different setup. Obviously, a younger team. Triantafyllis has started every game of her freshman campaign so far. So
Maren Jones really the only first year to get much experience as she makes a good play there. But as we say, when the sophomore class for Tufts is as good as it is hard to break into such a set team as a first year. Midfield really was one of the areas where Tufts was lacking depth, so Maren Jones playing in a key area.
Aries. Yeah, and Tufts also, I mean, returning grad students, Aaron Duncan and Nicholas Summers this year. It's not a very big team, big lineup they have right now. Only 19 players listed, but this is definitely a tough depth chart to cut into. Ella Carlucci, the freshman. Kushner, the senior honor. Cut into the middle, but Caroline O'Neill cuts it out.
Yeah, good coverage there from O'Neill, just tracking, watching that square ball, getting a foot on it, and now Tufts has the chance to counter. Ooh.
Jane McGuire knocks it out. Emily Nicholas sorts of runs into her once they hit the ground, and perhaps the Colby coach was not super excited about it.
But you hear the energy now really starting to pick up as we head into the last 15 minutes of this first half. I mean, been an entertaining half hour here on Bello.
Yeah, ever since that first minute, it's sort of been blow for blow, especially a lot of battles in the midfield, and they're making the refs do a lot of work here today. A lot of times a player went with a little push in the back, and they have to choose where to draw that line because they're playing very physical soccer in the midfield. Triantafyllis. Ball up the side, but nobody there to collect. O'Neill. DeWitt playing a little bit of keep up. Aoife O'Reilly. Ooh, shifty little spin move. And Claire Walsh couldn't put it where she wanted to after that.
Avery Del Cole looking to come in, first year defender from Weston Mass. I don't think she's gotten any minutes so far this year. This will be her first collegiate appearance. Actually, excuse me, she got a couple minutes against St. Joseph's in Southern Maine, but only 18.
But similarly for Tufts, Hannah Batt coming in now for LC Aries. Also deserves a break. Lots of great shots so far, but only 24 minutes so far in her first two games. So now the rotation really starting to show.
One of the biggest questions for Tufts this year and indeed last year has been, what do you do when LC Aries can't play? Aries played full 90 against Williams. They did not sub her off at all because they know how crucial she is. She is, again, today notwithstanding, on a 7-game streak of scoring. And there hasn't really been anyone who can replicate that. which, fair enough, Alcieri's is one of the best strikers in D3, but no one has been able to get anything consistently on the board off of the bench.
Yeah, obviously you want to have that star in your attack, but it's good to have a second option because she unfortunately can't do everything. She's gonna need a break at times, but it's good to see Caroline Kelly step up.
Yeah, and now as Segru, Tufts really trying to get it out. Anna Griffin and
Arcella with the clear. I mean, bobbling ball there could have been dangerous.
Senior captain Charlotte Johnson was lurking in the area. Gigi Edwards will be glad that Tufts eventually got it out, but it was not a comfortable moment for the Tufts goalkeeper.
meanwhile, another freshman in for Colby, Catherine Watrous, replacing Abby Jarvie. We're looking at basically an entire new 11-on-11 at this point, besides some of the usual 90-minute suspects in the back for Tufts, O'Neill, and Kushner. Meanwhile,
Segru.
Sammy DeWitt. And yes, Segru. And DeWitt for Colby. Oh, Segru couldn't get on it, and Caroline O'Neill saves the play for now Tufts running. Emily Nicholas.
Now a chance to break. Nicholas on this far side slows it down a little bit.
Aaron Jones. Sammy DeWitt drops it back to MK Marshall, who blasts it. Ella Carolucci, but it's taken off her hands by Aaron Jones. The wing for Anna Griffin. Tries to knock it up, and it's another pretty easy save for MK Marshall. Only two really, really solid, difficult saves for her so far, but she's had to keep her head on a swivel all game. Tufts chipping a lot of balls up into the box and making her come out for it. Anna Griffin. Nice knock away, but Avery Del Cole able to make the slide tackle that knocks it out of bounds and stops a potential runaway. And about fighting for it, Avery Del Cole winds up. Oh, and just a little bit of a mistime between Catherine Watrous and Charlotte Johnson. That's one they'd like to have back. "11 minutes to play in this first half. Once again, it's Anna Griffin out on the right wing. Great ball, Aoife O'Reilly, and Sammy DeWitt steps in. Aoife O'Reilly with good use of the body to get what looked like it was going to be an open go, but once again, as we've said, that's the benefit of having so many women in the back.
Yeah, we saw her bag her first goal last year against Endicott. Could this be another situation there? I mean, she had a lot of space and time, and that midfield does need to step up for shots sometimes.
Tufts will have a go from the corner. Really nicely lobbed up high into the box. MK Marshall got a hand on it, but it's just not enough.
And guess who? Lena Segru.
I mean, as I said, she loves a goal against Colby. Segru with a gray head on it. These corners, I mean, she is a specialist at that. And how about it? A third goal in 3 years against Colby. First goal of the season for her.
An assist for Marin Jones the first year as well. It's an interesting delivery. Got so much under it. Almost looks like a wedge shot in golf. But that height just really threw off MK Marshall in goal as Segru got underneath it enough to make it uncomfortable for her in goal.
And so far, I mean, this is exactly what you want from a tough standpoint. Bouncing back from that loss against Williams and having a 2-goal insurance, very, very crucial, and they'll definitely want to see that out heading into halftime.
Tufts have made a habit so far this season of scoring from set pieces. Got 2 on this field against Emerson in the opener.
And a little bit of a mistime bobble from Tufts. Charlotte Johnson winds up with it. Oh, my goodness. And it was almost a goal after a couple mistimes from Tufts. Claire Walsh wound up with a chance from a few feet. But Gigi Edwards was where she needed to be, and there was really no daylight.
Yeah, kind of a scramble there in the box. I mean, Edwards seemed to have it covered and just was a mishit from Walsh in the end, but almost a quick response. We saw Emerson bounce back after Tufts scored their 4th goal. obviously wasn't very consequential, but yeah, those crucial moments, especially beginning of games, right after kickoff, need to be the most alert. I think that's when you can fall asleep. And for Marion Jones, I mean, fantastic for her, getting her first career assist and really good involvement for the first year, as we saw another first year check in, Sarah Hawk, check into the team, replacing Nicholas, who also gets a deserved break.
I think something on that chance for Colby is Segru was, I think, maybe still up on the high from scoring that goal, completely lost track of Johnson, who was very wise to look up and see Walsh streaking into the back post, just not enough or a bit too close to the end line, and Walsh couldn't quite get it on target.
And we're talking about good sub and play from freshmen with potential. That play starts with Claire Walsh and Ella Caralucci, who, if you weren't catching it, had some really shifty footwork in the midfield that set up the play to begin with.
Walsh was nearly in again there.
Yep. Segru. Not enough. Caralucci. Really nice ball over against her. Manned up by Marion Jones.
Good intervention there from Marcella, watching that through ball, getting a foot on it to prevent what could have been a dangerous chance. So very good replacement for her, and very encouraging for Coach Whiting that you have that depth to swap out for the injured Holsber line. Seems to be doing all right, but unlikely we'll check back in for the rest of this game.
It looks like she has ice on that ankle, so we wish her the best in her recovery.
Mia Sullivan's pitch into Charlotte Johnson, now swings it over to the side. Johnson tries to get a head under it, and it bobbles over to the end to Ella Caralucci. Nice pullback move, winds up ahead of Kushner. Great ball across the middle. Oh, and you're not going to get many chances like that. Catherine Watrous wishing she could turn back time. Beautiful setup from Ella Caralucci, and she just couldn't keep it down.
And as soon as she it left her foot, she knew she had made a mistake. I mean, fantastic work there to get that square ball. Kushner almost beat out there after initially getting to it, but that could have been a good response for Colby and would have been very encouraging, cutting the lead down to 1 for Tufts.
Yeah, Watrous just couldn't get her feet set in time, ended up getting under it when you're in that position, keeper is not going to save it. You just need to pass it, make sure you're getting it around the defenders. Couldn't react quick enough to that ball coming across, as it was great work by Caralucci.
It's one of those in practice you do 99 times out of 100 you make, but when it comes to that one game situation, it can be tough, but Tufts getting away with one there.
And ever since Tufts went up 2-0, you can sort of see the sense of urgency increasing in this Colby side. Pressure getting a lot higher, and they look like they won a goal. Inbound will be from Mia Sullivan. Murphy Leung in her first few minutes. Sullivan swings it across. Kylie Thorpe will be looking for openings. Nicely played by Anna Griffin. And now she'll get a chance offensively on the right side. Looks up. Cross. Batted out by Kylie Thorpe.
Another corner here. This could be a very, very opportune moment for the Jumbos. I mean, let's see what happens. But something I've really enjoyed from seeing from these Tufts attackers, the way they drop back, the way they recover whenever they lose out on the ball, and Anna Griffin creating that play and giving her side a corner.
And once again, Tufts putting their height in the box with Rachel Arcella and Lena Segru. They want another go at it. Another beautifully placed ball. Bobbled around, knocked out. Sarah Hawk, oh, deflection. She got a good hold on that, but Colby crowded the box, keeps it out.
I see what you were saying about the wedge shot, though. I mean, floated ball from Marion Jones creates a bit of confusion, but it's all about the placement there, and could have been a chance for Sarah Hawk, but Colby defense standing strong.
And yeah, Marion Jones with 2 really, really excellent corners so far. They're happy to have her in that spot, setting up chances.
You wonder how dangerous that's going to be when we get a really windy day here on Bellow, as we are prone to do. And those balls are just floating up. You don't know where they're going to come down. It could be a real weapon.
Aoife O'Reilly battling for it with Mia Sullivan.
Yeah, great fight there. as we've seen so many times. Heading into these last 5 minutes, I mean, this is where you got to give the most effort. Really earn your minutes and run it out. Secure that 2-0 lead. So it comes out to Duncan.
Aaron Duncan, ooh, nice little move, bobbling it up. And a bat. But Sammy DeWitt's able to get up top and heads it out.
She'll let it go. Give the Jumbos a bit of time to recover. Kushner having played every minute so far in this matchup. Give her some time to breathe.
Into O'Reilly. Collects it cleanly. Segru at the back, and the Jumbos will set up. Nice ball up. But just a bit too much. And Kylie Thorpe will track the ball all the way out of bounds for Colby. Goal kick. Quick tap off to Thorpe. Up in the middle, O'Reilly's able to get a foot under it, but not enough. Ella Caralucci sees Claire Walsh. Ooh, a little techie move in the middle. O'Reilly got under a leg, and they'll have another go.
That's exactly what Claire Walsh wanted to bait O'Reilly into doing. Just allows them to get the ball further up the field without the Jumbo's pressure.
Caralucci trying to turn around an O'Neill. No such luck. Murphy from Leung and Marin Jones. Hawk. Great ball to Duncan on the wing, but a little high, and she'll have to head it up. And that's a Samantha DeWitt ball.
Yeah, good idea there from Duncan, trying to move it on, try to get that header to Hannah Bat, but maybe would have been better to settle it down, but still remains at the feet of Tufts.
That was a nice freshman link up there from Hawk to Jones.
Jones with a nice little spinning ball up to the top to bat, but nothing comes of it.
Driven ball there from Marin Jones. I mean, we know she can float in some crosses, but definitely got some power on that as well. And you see this Tufts line. I mean, really high press now.
Back, MK Marshall forced to fight with Hannah Bat for it. After the drop back ball, great pressure high on the play from Tufts.
And we saw it from Griffin before. We see it from O'Reilly there now, playing a bit higher up than I think she normally has. Fantastic press there, and could have been a goal for Hannah Bat. Would have been her first of the season as well.
I just want to single out MK Marshall's instincts coming off her line. She's had to do that a couple of times so far and has been really effective at cutting off the tough shots at source when she needs to.
Yeah, absolutely, Micah. All credit to MK Marshall so far. Tufts up 2-0, but they've been two really solid chances. Marshall was able to get a hand on one. It just wasn't enough. This game could be an even worse shape for Colby if it weren't for her great effort and goal so far.
100%.
Yeah, and I think this is the most offensive pressure she has sustained this season, so she's still been pretty outstanding, despite the fact that Tufts have peppered 11 shots at her goal with 5 on target.
Coming into this game, Marshall had faced 3 shots all season in 3 games.
So the Jumbos really bringing the heat now. But Colby, maybe one more chance. Minute and a half to go.
And you said, 3 games from Marshall. She did sub out at the second half for Talia Thompson in the 2 games except for Bowdoin. This being another NESCAC matchup that's a little more difficult, that may not be the case, especially with her performance so far. We'll see if they keep her in for the full 90. I'd have to think they will.
Yeah, this is a crucial one, and I think MK Marshall is your go-to. So she, I think, very deserving to see out the rest of this match. But 60 seconds now. Good collect from Edwards, snuffing out another chance.
And Tufts seems to be looking up at the clock a little bit as they try to keep it in their own half. Send it up to Caroluzzi, who has time and space. Nope, that's Jade McGuire. That's still Jade McGuire. Taking a look at her options. It's still Jade McGuire. Nice move off to Murphy Leung. Jade McGuire. Mia Sullivan. Colby with a little bit of almost tiki-taka action here in the midfield, trying to create something.
Another good intervention from O'Neill. 20 seconds left now on the clock. Colby will try to rush to get something into the box, but this seems to be just about it.
Now or never now for Colby. We'll see what they can do with it. Rosie Young. As we get the 10-second countdown from the box, 5 seconds, Sarah Hawk with a nice play to head it as far as she can out of bounds and let this clock roll out. At the half, we have had a really solid back and forth game in terms of aggressive play in the midfield, but it hasn't really been back and forth in terms of chances. Colby has created a couple, but Tufts definitely leading in both shots and shots on goal, and 2 of them from Lena Segru and Caroline Kelly have been enough to get past MK Marshall. What can this Colby team do in the second half to get back in this game?
I mean, as we said a lot, to create those chances. I mean, Tufts doing a good job of responding despite that injury to Kate Holzberline. And I think Colby needs to continue that press that worked for them so well in those middle 20 minutes of that first half. But for Tufts, I mean, fantastic. This is exactly what you want. 11 shots in the first half, and very, very encouraging, bouncing back from that loss against Williams. And now that's all that left to them left for them to do is see out the second half, maybe get a third goal. But very encouraging signs.
I think if you're Colby, yes, at the start of that half, we were saying Tufts were leading 6 shots to 1. They were leading 8 shots to 1. At the end of the half, Tufts were only leading 11 to 5. Colby have started to create those chances. They've gotten past the fullbacks, especially Jordan Kushner on that one occasion, in order to fashion a fantastic opportunity they just couldn't put away. So if they know that they can get past these Tufts defenders, they are not the most solid in the conference. They just need to make sure that they can continue creating those good chances, isolating the fullbacks, and make sure they can put it in the net once they get there.
Absolutely, and we'll get the chance to see if that happens in just about 15 minutes. We'll be back. Hello and welcome back to this game between the Tufts University Jumbos and the Colby Mules. You're watching Women's Soccer on JumboCast. Before we get started here in the second half, my co-commentator Max Antonini has a little review of what's going on around the NESCAC today.
Yeah, a little around the ground score lines. We have Conn College defeating Bowdoin by a score of 2-1. Bowdoin now with 2 NESCAC defeats. Pretty tough for them, knowing they're ranked in the top 15 heading into this week. Middlebury taking down Trinity 2-0, and Wesleyan taking down the Continentals of Hamilton College 2-1 as well. So impressive results for those sides. And concurrently to this match, Williams versus Amherst, a top 20 featured matchup. Amherst being number 2 in the country, Williams number 20. So lots of games to watch here, and this is probably the most important one for us. Tufts with the 2-0 lead over the Colby College Mules, and fantastic first half for the Jumbos.
Yeah, and after getting a lot of subs in the first half, both teams seem to revert to default with their starting lineups, of course, with the exception of Rachel Arcella in on the Tufts side for Kate Holzmerline. It looks like she'll take the rest of the day out. Meanwhile, on the Colby side, Fatih Salifu's shoe issue seems to have been resolved, and this lineup is the starting lineup once again.
Yeah, for Rachel Arcella, I mean, this is that is the nature of soccer sometimes, being called up when you least expect it, and she has done phenomenally filling in there. Now on the right-hand side, Kushner continuing to be on the left-hand side. So Tufts will kick off here, but with Elsie Aries to do it. So as we said, I think Tufts will want one more, and for Colby, just get one on the board and see what happens from there.
Emily Nicholas. Breeze Birch gets the ball to a strong, resounding turn from the Tufts bench, and that's exactly what she does. Caroline Kelly. Back to Arcella. And the Colby high press doing its job. Avery Barton now. And Labiche.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're a Mules fan. That intensity straight out of the break, coming in, making it really difficult for Tufts at the back, forcing the mistake, and now forcing possession deep in their attacking corner.
And as we continue to see throughout the first half, Colby with a chance.
Ooh, and it's just wide. Again, it's around what we've seen in the midfield. This time, Avery Barton, really good high press to get Jordan Kushner off the ball. They love that chance, but it's just a little wide.
Whip to the far post. I mean, that looked dangerous. Edwards scrambling a little bit. We saw Tufts score that first-minute goal. Colby trying to do a first-minute goal in the second half of their own. So, quick start for Colby. Tufts need to be alert here.
Kushner has lost a couple battles on that left-hand side since switching over there for Holzberline. Maybe not the battle she was expecting to go into as she started this game on the right.
Arcella with space closing. Doesn't like her options. Genser took it out, but Kelly was able to control the ball and see Aries up. And it's the Aries-DeWitt matchup. In terms of accolades, the best players on these two teams last season.
Showing all signs of continuing it this season as well for Aries.
Saw there 4 players on Aries just crowding her out completely. Then you leave Birch with that kind of space. She will get a shot away. It's not the best on this occasion.
Yeah, good layoff there for Reese Birch. A bit too much on it. Sails over the crossbar. Not enough to threaten the goal of Marshall. But yeah, as we said, Aries draws a lot of attention. And so that will create chances for other people. And I'm sure that'll be a consistent theme we see throughout the season.
Samantha DeWitt hits it up out of bounds. As I said, last season, Aries obviously all NESCAC first team. DeWitt all NESCAC second team. That's definitely still a matchup to watch. I guess the matchup between Aries and DeWitt and the other two defenders who are usually on her. Oh, great ball through to Nicholas Summers. Fatih Salifu got something on it, but not enough. Caroline Kelly tries to do a little spin move, and Samantha DeWitt says, I don't think so.
I mean, really smart ball there from Aries into Nicholas Summers. I thought she would have taken it herself, but tries to feed into Kelly, who almost has a nice spin away from the pressure, but good coverage for Colby in the end.
I mean, if that spin had come off from Kelly and she managed to put it in the net, that would have been a goal of the season contender.
We've already had quite a few so far. I think Kelly's first minute definitely up there already.
I think Sumner would have something to say with her goal in the Emerson game as well.
Colby retaining possession. Oh, a cheeky little step over move from Milo Liskow, but the pressure is maintained and it goes out of bounds. Waverly Sumner. Tufts trying to spread the field and get it out of this contested corner. Or maybe they'll play it down the same side. Birch reviewing. Sees Emily Nicholas in the center. Nice pull over against Jarvie. Sees Summers push over to Caroline Kelly. Sidestep, pullback, sidestep. Sends it wide. Arcella. And that's headed out strongly by Annie Libash.
Some fancy footwork there from Kelly,
Puppy.
dancing 1-2, little cha-cha on top of the box, but feeds it out to Arcella and kept the play alive. Just needed something else on it as Summers driving through now.
Yeah, and that kind of battle that will often get caught against the larger player, Nicholas Summers. Gets plenty of advantage from her height generally, but that is one occasion in which it will prove in favor of the opposition.
Yeah, Salifu using her body to her advantage, stepping in front of Summers and drawing a foul in the end, but Summers already involved on the right wing. I mean, we saw she had the first 25 to do her damage. And pushing the back there for Bird. She knows.
Yep.
A little apologies to both sides.
Will be she drew the foul, now step up to take it. Nice play up the side, lets it run through Avery Barton, but isn't quite able to turn around in time to then collect it. Caroline Kelly. Reese Birch with a really techie turnaround in the midfield.
Sumner now with a lot of space.
In the middle, great intervention from Libash. Labish.
Oh, nice work there. The fight. I mean, this is picking up. We saw the midfield really fight for every ball in that first half, and Kushner getting into a bit of a shoving match as well. I mean, this is no cards issued so far, but definitely want to keep a smart head.
When that is a matchup that they know they've had success in the past, going up against Kushner, Barton knows that any opportunity she can to just get under her skin, make it more difficult for her, she's going to take it.
Nicholas Summers fighting up top to get it. And that's exactly where she wants the ball against this Colby defense.
I think that's the best she could do. I mean, it was a 1v3, hold up play. Fantastic. Trying to get more options up front for her.
Solid turn from Segru.
Now Birch can move.
Time and space. Dribbling to her right, pull back left. But really tough pressing defense from Annie Labiche. Segru able to get the flick that keeps it away from Abby Jarvie, but not for long. Jarvie now in the midfield. Sends it wide to Barton. Once again, physical with Kushner. Up top, and Rachel Arcella with the clear as needed after Trion Tefla sent it central.
Yeah, it could have been dangerous there. Just take the safe option, let it rip, take it away. I mean, still very good 1-2 play there on the far right side from Colby, so they're not showing any signs of giving up.
Yeah, 8 minutes into the second half. New life, really, it seems, on the Colby side. Highly contested so far.
Yeah, and given their fantastic start historic first 3 games of the season, they will not want to have a 1 in that loss column.
Birch, see she has Summers wide on the left side. Fati Salifu is what between her and upfield. Able to play it out, holds it in, and Summers sees Salifu coming in and decides she's okay with being knocked out.
Yeah, Salifu doing a good job of covering back. She's very speedy as well, as you mentioned. Foul there. Lavish a bit upset with that, but could be a dangerous opportunity. What will we see on it? Must be Caroline O'Neal.
Tell you what, Elsie Aries, she certainly will want to extend her goal scoring streak to 8 games.
I think it's one of those things where you don't want to think about necessarily, but you'd be happy to keep it. So Aries wants to add a 3rd here for the Jumbos.
I have to think the streak they're more worried about is getting back in the win column.
Yeah, that is the most important one at the end of the day.
But at the same time, a hard thing not to consider when you're at this point.
Yeah, and Aries almost had it there, fighting for it right outside the 6. Good knock on there from Segru as well. Maybe she'll like a brace. Good pressure.
Reese Birch, once again, goes down with Labiche, and it'll go the other way. And as we said, these teams making the refs have a busy day. A lot of high physicality encounters.
Yeah, 12 fouls so far in the matchup. Oh,
Reese Birch, here's a chance between MK Marshall's feet. And that's one of the ones, if you're Colby, you just hate to let go. If you're Tufts.
you'll take that any day. Fantastic for Reese Birch. Good pressure and, I mean, easy as you like. Right through the legs of MK Marshall. 3-0 Jumbos now.
Yeah, Birch's 2nd goal of the season. Just capitalizing on a loose opportunity there, as she did against Emerson. Got that goal off a bounding ball in the box that time. This time, very composed with the finish. Marshall, again, rushed out quickly, but just couldn't close the legs fast enough, and Birch found the gap.
Yeah, it was the Caroline Kelly show in the first half. Now it's Reese Birch's time to shine. Fantastic, bringing the lead to 3. This is fantastic if you're the Jumbos. But now need to stay alert. It's always this kickoff that can cause problems.
Out of bounds on the right side.
That is Reese Birch's 2nd career goal as well. Just having a good start to this sophomore season.
Yeah, another one of those sophomores stepping up when it matters most. And I think after this, if they see this match out, I think she really will have solidified her place there in the midfield. Birch, Nicholas, and Kelly doing a fantastic job so far.
Was a big question as to who would come in for the graduated Talia Greenberg, but Birch has really staked her claim. We might have expected Aoife O'Reilly, who got more game time, I believe, last year, but Birch is the woman for now. She's making her time count.
Yeah, as you said, played 16 games last season, but never really getting up top. No goals in her freshman campaign. So far, it's 2. As you mentioned, 1 against Emerson and 1 today. Genser sees Labiche back, and Birch once again colliding with Labiche.
Could have had a breakaway there. She knows that opportunity was primed and ready, but referee does bring it back for the foul. And for Birch, that brings her on 2 goals, tied with Elsie Aries. This is the type of goal contributions we would have expected. I'm sure Coach Whiting would have liked to have more goals in and around Elsie Aries. So fantastic work for them, and they'll just have to see this one out.
It's about one of the shortest walls that the Jumbos could have put together there with Kelly and Aries.
Yeah, I don't think they were really expecting it to hit them. But they got the
Both
job
fantastic
done.
players, but 5-1 and 5-3.
And Genser somehow gets it over the top, but it's off place. Gigi Edwards will control. Now Abby Jarvie Colby able to take it away, but not able to turn it around quick enough. They're still on the attack, though. Here's Elo Leskow. Another routine pickup for Edwards.
Yeah, those whip balls in on top of the 6-yard box. I mean, those can be dangerous, but Edwards has handled every and all of them so far. We've seen so many good signs, a lot of issues addressed in this game. The only one left to be addressed, I'd say, is those late goals. So only time will tell if they can keep up with that.
Alzieris. Nicholas sees Birch. There she has Summers just trying to stay right on side. Salifu can't intercept. Summers pulls to her right foot. Has a go. MK Marshall. And it was right around the woodwork. Not sure if that one was going to go in, but it doesn't matter when you've got MK Marshall in goal.
Yeah, dipping ball there. I think Summers got enough on it. Salifu with a bit of a miscue. And could have been 4. I mean, Tufts might as well keep it going. But Birch in so much space there and a fantastic ball to find Summers on the right-hand side.
Colby, 30 minutes to play, down 3. They want one soon if they're going to get back in this game.
And I think this is the time where the subs will start to come in. You do see Jane McGuire ready at midfield. In addition to Kylie Thorpe and Jaden Liebman.
Tufts passing it around on its own end. Colby still with his high pressure setup. Birch, a little bit too much mustard on it as she tries to see Sumner on the wing.
Sumner hasn't had too much to do since the first minute of the game, effectively. She's trying to get a bit more involved, but she really had her highlight reel moment as early as she possibly could.
I think this is one of those games where maybe the heat starting to settle in as well. I mean, they've been out here for about an hour now and some change, so it's one of those hot bellow days. We have some cold bellow days, but they seem to be handling it well, and I think we'll try to see more rotation, definitely from the Colby side. And if Coach Martha Whiting's happy with what she sees, might as well see it out.
Yeah, and what I call the bellow -10 doesn't really apply on such a sunny, calm day as we have today. It's September, but right now it feels like July.
Yeah, and there will be some more NESCAC soccer action, men's soccer, the same matchup as you see today, Tufts versus Colby, to feature on JumboCast immediately after this one. So stick around for some more soccer action.
Don't forget, we'll be back tonight as well with the homecoming football game against Bowdoin, as well as tomorrow afternoon with men's and women's soccer back in action against Conn College.
Action-packed weekend.
Drop back to Kelly.
It's a great ball out wide by Kelly.
MK Marshall.
Yeah, there's the negative commentator curse I was talking about, as Sumner gets another big involvement, cutting inside and gets a lot of power behind that shot, but not enough placement to be MK Marshall.
I mean, she loves that little cut in and drive to the far post. MK Marshall might have seen her highlight reel from that Emerson game, but Waverly Sumner, really nice work there to test the fingertips of MK Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall doing yeoman's work, overtime and a half today. Tufts is just putting a lot of balls on net and making her do the work. Sumner, good fight, but not one that's won. Barton winds up with it. Little cut in. And it's Caroline O'Neill there to send it back down into the Mule's end.
Yeah, speaking of O'Neill, Segru, and Kushner, in addition to Edwards, played every minute so far. looking to continue their streak of long matches played, as Edwards, Segru, and O'Neill have played all their matches, played the full 90 in the previous 2 matches, so definitely 2 veterans.
In contrast, Colby has not had anyone play all of their 3 games. Their most minutes player is Samantha DeWitt, who has missed 27 minutes against St. Joseph's. But other than that, almost every player has missed at least a half of soccer.
Birch forced to send it up long, and MK Marshall will wait for it at the line. Elsieri's almost got there, putting on pressure.
And that's what she does so well. I think it's something we've seen throughout this game is Tufts can respond with some pressure of their own. Just as we see there.
Nicholas Birch forced to pull it back with the Jaden Lehman on her back. Tufts facing this Mules pressure and really keeping solid control, passing it around in the half.
Waverly Sumner taking a hit to the face.
Yeah, Trian Taffel stepped up, and they're going to call a sub out for Sumner.
Maybe potentially concussion precaution. She looks to be fine, but referee is obliged it. Anna Griffin going to check in.
Yeah, I think safety is probably the priority. Seems
looks like,
nosebleed.
Nosebleed, so got to take
the
that
policy.
off the field. Yep.
Hoping she'll be all right, taking a hit, but Griffin will have 25 minutes to play with here.
Kelly. As you said, almost a full house here in the stands and next door at the field hockey game. It is a busy day out here on the fields.
It's busy
day for the Colby substitutes as well. 4 substitutes now coming up to the line.
About to come on. Do you want to go through them?
One of you owes the other one a Coke. We have Ella Carolucci, Mia Sullivan, Claire Walsh, and Avery Del Cole coming up to the line to sub in. Once again, right around the half point in the second half. 25 minutes to play.
Griffin getting a great first few minutes back into play.
And we have another Fatih Salifu, Nicola Summers foot race on the right wing. And they're fighting for it down in the corner. A Holland-esque corner trap. Is it central? Reese Birch, nice ball back. Sends it to the far side, but Ela Leskow, Caroline Kelly.
Might as well have a go.
Why not?
Tufts with 2 subs now. That's Hannah Batt taking over for Elsie Aries and Juliana Rosen stepping in for Nicholas Summers. Seems like Elsie Aries' streak might come to an end here. But I don't think she'll be too mad with the 3-0 results.
Definitely not, as Eva O'Reilly is also going to come up to check in at the next opportunity.
She's calling for Caroline Kelly, so we'll have a pretty new-looking midfield here for Tufts.
O'Reilly taking over for Kelly now. Seems like the main starters will eventually start to rotate out. I think Coach Whiting feels pretty comfortable in using her bench players to hold out for the last 20.
Question is, when will Sarah Hawk come in for Emily Nicholas as she did in the first?
Yeah, this could be a great opportunity for some of those first years. We've only had 2 features so far. Could be a great day for some first ever collegiate minutes.
Del Cole sees Jarvie, who swings it out wide. There's Sullivan controlling a spinning ball. Lehman, nice ball on the wing to Claire Walsh, but Gigi Edwards reads it like a book. And it's, I would say, a level 3, medium to beginner level readers.
And she, I think, will want to have that clean sheet. We know they're so valuable in the NESCAC and had a bit of trouble, and the fact that they haven't managed to attain one so far, so that will definitely be a priority for her and the rest of the back line.
Fantastic through ball there, though, as you wonder if Abigail Jarvie had shown her pace earlier on in this game. If that had been her running onto it, she might have got there first. Claire Walsh not quite as pacey.
Sammy Dewitt. She scored that PK goal in the 12th that gave him the win against Bowdoin.
Conversely, Nicholas Summers with that penalty against Emerson did not convert on her opportunity. Again, did not have too much consequence, but I think something you noted, Micah, is something to look out for in the future if that does come up. Who will be her takers? Who does Coach Whiting trust the most?
Definitely is. Last year, they had two different penalty takers. Madeline Silvera missed her one attempt. Meanwhile, Talia Greenberg made hers. Both of those have now graduated, and the only other info we had was based on who took penalties in that national semifinal against Cal Lutheran. Nicholas Summers was not one of those, but she did win the penalty, so maybe that was the policy going into that one. It's not the best penalty from her.
Rachel Arcella knocks it out to Jarvie, who sends a ball high, and Edwards collects. And 0.5-second turnaround as she swings it out to Emily Nicholas. Tufts playing around with it in their own left back. Another set of subs comes up to the line. Both freshmen for Tufts, Marin Jones into the game, and for the Mules, Catherine Watrous.
Seems like Reese Birch's day will be done as well. Really impressive 25 minutes. I mean, she made her impact known, and best game of the season for her, I'd say.
Really best game of her collegiate career.
Neal sending it up in the air, and Kushner keeping it in nicely. Plays out Mia Sullivan. A nice cross. Colby winds up with it on the foot for a second. It was Jaden Liebman, but she couldn't get the pass off. Sammy DeWitt, hand of bat pressure. Arcella, seeing the new substitute Jones. Aoife O'Reilly, Avery Del Cole turns around just in time to get that out to Liebman. And refs call it out on Tufts. So Liebman into watch house before anyone can change their minds.
Looked like the right call from where I was sitting.
Shock on the
I
face.
can see you wanted debates in this game. So.
I would respectfully disagree with you, Micah.
Fair enough.
And I value your friendship.
Appreciate it.
MK Marshall comes out for a clearance.
Good intervention from O'Neal there as well. Making sure no ball slipped through past the back line.
Ooh.
Dancing.
Marin Jones hitting us with the Jordan pose. Not the same sport, but you can put that on a boot.
Does sail out for a throw in the end.
It'll be Del Cole looking for options, of which he has few. Sends it wide. Tufts gets under it. Hannah Bat. Anna Griffin
Searching.
puts it up high. She'll make Juliana Rosen run out for it. Tufts on the retreat. Oh, no, they're not. Emily Nicholas with a little chip over. But Samantha DeWitt, once again, there to carve it out.
Saw what Marin Jones did and tried to replicate it on her end. Great run there from Caroluzzi.
Still going. Eventually sails out.
Yeah, Ella Caroluzzi has legs. She had a similar chance there to that one that she was able to get over to Watrous in the first half. Still, I would say Colby's best look at a goal so far.
Yeah, going back, I think Juliana Rosen being the 8th member of the bench that Coach Martha Whiting has used, so definitely a bit of change compared to that Williams game, and it's really done dividends for her.
Aoife O'Reilly. Nice turnaround from Marin Jones. But Jaden Liebman maintaining the pressure. O'Neal has a run-in with Carolussi, and it's one she ultimately wins. Kushner, the senior back duo, doing a little back and forth. Oh, and that is...
Could have been dangerous.
That's the sort of pitchback that makes your heart race a little bit. Emily Nicholas, glad to see Alina Segru get under that one eventually.
I'm not sure Johnson realized how far away Segru was from that initially. Didn't even try to chase it.
Junior connection now on the right-hand side. Anna Griffin and Aoife O'Reilly.
Del Cole with high pressure. Nicely taken away. Watrous sees her options. Good interception from Jones. Jane McGuire. Ooh, Charlotte Johnson. Mia Sullivan looking out to the corner for Carolussi, but Kushner trying to use the body to keep her away from it, and she'll pitch it back as far as she can for the throw-in.
Real pinball stuff there in the midfield. That ball pinging back and forth off a few bodies, but does result in a Colby throw on the far right side.
Sarah Hawk now going to come in, as that will mean everything ahead of the Jumbo's back line has been replaced. No voluntary substitutions in the Jumbo's back line so far. Of course, there was that one for Holzberline. We are now approaching the final 15 minutes when the Jumbos have been so fragile. Colby will be looking to pile on the pressure. They certainly will know about that ability to crumble, as they exploited it last year. Maybe not able to do that to the tune of 3 goals this time.
That's the importance of creating that insurance and why it was so defeating having that Reese Birch third goal. Because, you know, once you get one, you think it's just another one away. But now a goal lead of 3 makes it a lot more difficult for the Colby attack.
Yeah, another one away. Might be a little bit too much to surmount. Crazier things have happened, though, any given Saturday. Avery Del Cole and Anna Griffin tie up around the ball, and it'll be a throw-in for the Jumbos.
In these moments, I think if you're the Jumbos, you can take your time with throw-ins and free kicks, set pieces. Take it easy. I mean, you've done your job. You've done the work necessary, and it's just a matter of slowing the tempo and not letting Colby get into a break, get into a flow of things. So I think that will be the game plan heading into this final 15. But another goal wouldn't hurt. Aoife O'Reilly trying to add on.
Dancer on the ball a little bit. Sees Hannah bat, but just can't get enough under it. Straight center, and that's MK Marshall's bread and butter.
It seems for Hannah Bat, she might be that number 9 replacement in the future, seeing a lot more of her than we did in the past. And she has a shot on goal from this game. This is very, very encouraging signs for her.
She's made 9 sub appearances last year, 163 minutes. Already looking to reclaim that role this year.
Yeah, as we said, a lot of the Tufts freshmen who sort of contributed off the bench in the first season now sort of getting consistent, cemented lineup spots in their sophomore campaigns.
Emma Finnerty going to make her collegiate debut here. While Sully Poo and, that is Barton coming in for Colby. Kushner's day is over.
Kushner getting her first rest of the season, and Finnerty getting her first minutes of her collegiate career. That's always a good sight to see. Very encouraging from a Tufts perspective, and she'll fill in on the left-hand side.
Definitely
fullback.
Definitely provides a different physical profile to Kushner.
Sending up 5'10". Definitely is a very high, very tall, very strong back line here.
And it'll be Avery Barton who hits the deck, as the official will call it back to the spot. Another set piece here for Colby. They'll see if they can convert on one. Now's the time where, 12 minutes, you can still get back in the game, but you also sort of have the liberty to try around with different things, experiment with stuff you might want to put into action in a different game in a slightly lower stakes scenario. And that's one thing to experiment with.
Edwards not even thinking about it, not even putting up a hand. She knew that was sailing over.
It's a nice idea, though.
Yeah.
Everyone was lined up on the far post, and Edwards was expecting it there. She had gotten a bit less height on that and just managed to sneak it in over Edwards. Could have been dangerous.
And even though Edwards has time, if you put that ball 2 feet lower, it's just a really, really hard place to reach at all.
We saw that with Tufts' second goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, use that height, use those headers, and that's why those set pieces can be so dangerous with the lofted ball. Tufts getting a chance to reset now. Heading into the last 10.
Arcella Griffin knocks it up. Bong.
Cameraman doing safe up there.
And that's why they have multiple soccer balls. Good knock away from Arcella. And Sullivan will be the one turning to her own keeper. She controls it, but no, nice turnaround, and she sees Salifu on the wing.
Good first step for Finity. Her first touches in the Tufts white.
And a bat. Tufts once again slowing it down and trying to control the passing play in the center third. That with the drop off for Finity, and there was just a little bit too much juice on it. Bounces into the boards, which are reminding you that excellence is in fact brown and blue. Jaden Lehman with a turnaround. Claire Walsh, good physicality to knock it away. Barton. Liebman. Contact with Marin Jones, but they'll retain possession. Heidi Salifu, solid control on the wing. Oh, nicely picked in.
Still going. Finity had something to say about that. That was O'Neill, excuse me.
O'Reilly, pullback. Looking at her options on both wings. Bat, whack again. Sees Sarah Hawk. She had that one that looked like a good chance off the corner in the first half, but there were too many bodies in front. Griffin. Knocked in, but it's nicely controlled away by Thorpe.
It's going to be another collegiate debut here as Phoebe Marsick comes in defense. 24s for both teams looking to check in.
And for Colby, it's Genser. Definitely not her first collegiate appearance.
O'Neill also getting some first minutes, so a lot of what we saw with that Finity sub. So Segru and Edwards being the only ones remaining, and a whole wave of subs coming in now.
Got Cromit coming in, Neville, those two both for their collegiate debuts, as well as Camille Liu.
Who switched numbers for this season, going to opt for the 3 on her back. So, talked about that rotation in the pregame. This has been almost a full 11 of changes, just missing the keeper.
And good idea from McGuire seeing Barton with legs on the wing, but there's a bit too much.
Cromit's going to get her chance to prove her worth at number 9 role, it looks like. Neville going to play on this near side.
The ref calling for 10 additional seconds on the clock after the slowdown here on the sideline. McGuire. Sees Caroluzzi nicely, but not nicely enough. Segru under it.
Good win there from O'Reilly, giving Neville her first touches.
Not probably the way she wanted to go as it's batted back, but Arcella, another freshman, not a freshman, but she controls it well.
Marsick also getting a couple touches.
Headed into the last 8 now. I mean, haven't really shown too many signs of weakness that we've seen so many times in the last 15. So Coach Whiting must be delighted, but as we know so very well, it is not over until the final whistle rings.
Murphy Young checking into the game, replacing Barton.
With those earlier substitutes for Tufts, the only first years yet to play the season will be Greta Steggy, the backup goalkeeper, as well as Caitlin Capitolo, another defender.
And Segru now, the last woman standing in white. Controlled away nicely by Regan Miller. The pressure was high from Maisie Neville. Carlucci out on the wing to Young, but the senior, the most senior on the field, I think, for the Jumbos at this point. Leader in the back is Lena Segru.
As you see, the Colby men's team starting to file in behind that Tufts goal. We remind you to stick around for some more NESCAC action between the Tufts and Colby men's soccer teams. And Tufts men's team with a very strong start as well, with 2 wins already. MK Marshall dealing with that, but stick around. Men's soccer coming up very shortly, and then homecoming football against Bowdoin later tonight at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and MK Marshall clearly doesn't like what she sees with Audrey Cromit and Maisie Neville. Clearly a fresh set of legs and hungry for action up top. The press is high, and she didn't want to see Regan Miller on the outside in that instance. Hawk with a nice ball played to the outside. Camille Liu tries to control. She will. Pulls it to the side on Mia Sullivan. Sullivan neck and neck.
Good fight for that ball in the corner. Camille Liu trying to get away from our woman.
We ought not forget, Camille Liu is the record holder for Tufts for goals in a single game, getting 4 in the game against University of New England, I believe, in her or 2 years ago.
In her freshman year.
Yeah.
Obviously, might not have the chance to replicate that today, but good first
You never know.
minutes of the season.
Lewandowski scored 5 in 9 minutes.
It's as you know.
Yeah, first minutes of the season for Liu as well, so this is proving to be a very valuable game on so many fronts. Gets the 2.
A really solid cross that nobody could really control. Salifu with a chance. But Finnerty was there to carve it out. Comet sees Jones. Ooh, touchy little pull over the top.
Marion Jones has been very, very quick on her feet, slowing the game down as her coaches encourage. Don't do anything too excessive. And Marion Jones, definitely one to watch in this midfield for the future.
And this is what's worked for Tufts since they established this lead. Slow play from their back, solid passing, heads up. Don't need anything special at this point in the game.
Yeah, as you said, I think Tufts had a game plan and they stuck with it. They even got the chance to rotate in some new members of their squad. So this is completion for Tufts in this NESCAC matchup, and we'll bring them to 2-1. And most likely, say higher up on the national rankings as they currently sit at number 22.
3-0 win can't hurt.
Against an undefeated side, with the game to come tomorrow, we shall see.
Tufts moving the ball around now. Oh, sees it up top to Marion Jones. Little turnaround move. Holds on to the ball. No, she does not. And there was some defense from the ground. Almost every Tufts player, I think, has gotten a touch on the ball in the last 2 minutes.
The ball in from O'Reilly into Jones. Seems to be spinning away. Colby defender on the ground, playing to get a foot on it. This was a bit of confusion, but foul called in the end in favor of Colby.
That's something we haven't seen so much from Jones, but she is an expert at making runs off the ball, and her positioning there was inch perfect. Just couldn't get the ball out of her feet as the Colby defense did just enough to keep this scoreline at 3-0.
Genser with a nice turnaround there despite some pressure from Crommett. Now Miller sends it down to Murphy Leung. She's got control. Drop off for Claire Walsh.
Pressure not done yet, though.
Murphy Leung once again facing pressure, this time from Aoife O'Reilly. Great send down the wing to Avery Del Cole. Centering pass. And it's a nice cutout from Marsick.
Still not done yet, though. Eventually, the flag goes up.
The Tufts bench knows how important a clean sheet in this game would look on their schedule, and just for confidence reasons, would be a big confidence boost.
You never know with selection crews later down the line. I mean, results like these are so valuable when the NCAA selection committee is putting together that field of 64. So 2 minutes left to go now for Tufts, and they're home free. Can celebrate a homecoming victory.
Well, if you're Colby, you've already gotten an SCAG win on the board. That's huge. That win over Bowdoin. They only got 7 points on the board last year. They haven't made an SCAG tournament since 2018. That surely has to be their goal this year, and they've already made a great start towards that. It's not the result they wanted today, but they still have most of the season ahead of them, and they have plenty of confidence going into some of those later NESCAC games.
Yeah, for Colby, it's a lot to learn from this matchup. Tufts just outplayed. That's what it comes down to in the end. So two very differing sides. I think Colby still fought really well. MK Marshall, I think, should get the nod for the rest of the season. Very deserving of her spot in goal, but the offensive pressure just being a bit too much.
Marsick playing it way back to Edwards. Grew, and they'll probably play it around with it in their own in the central thirds for most of the remaining minute, 10 seconds. Grew. Edwards, Karalusi, and Salifu not loving this strategy as they'll go for some high pressure. O'Reilly. Pressure on the back from McGuire, and she makes a misfire.
Final minute now on Bello.
Karalusi pulls to her left. Ball across is controlled by Finnerty, who gets a quick clearance from it. Leung across to Salifu.
Great win there by Lou. As we've seen so many times from those wingers, getting back and winning balls. O'Reilly with a long ball as well. But will not matter in the end. 15 seconds left. No real time to mount an attack.
Young. Genser loses the ball. Walsh to Leung, and we'll count out this game. Grew shoots it up over the post and out of bounds to let time run out. As the bench is clear, your final score, Tufts 3 and the Colby College Mules 0. Tufts goals from Reese Birch, Lena Segru. Good overall win.
And Kelly as well.
And the first goal, and perhaps the cleanest one of the game. A nice little pull-through move in the Bosch high from Caroline Kelly. That's what set the tone for the rest of the game. What's the outlook going into Conn College? Obviously, we know they lost today 1-0 to Bowdoin. And what can Colby do out of this game to set the record straight and get back in the NESCAC win column?
I think with regard to Tufts, two big takeaways from this game. One, we've mentioned it, is that they got the clean sheet here. That is big for their defensive confidence, especially given they have conceded a couple late goals, one to Emerson and one to Williams, as well as one earlier on to Williams. That's a big number in that column for them to get their first clean sheet of the season. The other big takeaway for them is that they can win games, score a bunch of goals without Elsie Aries getting on the score sheet. Big performances there from Kelly, from Birch, and as well from Segru popping up on a set piece. It's really important to diversify their attack going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, so much to like from this outcome. I mean, you get those first year's minutes. Unfortunately for Elsie Aries, her streak of 7 goals in consecutive games comes to an end, but you see other people stepping up, and I think that's what Coach Whiting wants the most. You got to have some rotation, save legs for that important game against Conn College tomorrow, and having this momentum will definitely go a long way heading into the rest of the NESCAC games.
Yeah, and getting our first major look at a lot of the freshmen for Tufts. As you said, good chance for them to get some time on the field
Meanwhile, Colby are going into a game tomorrow against number 17 ranked University of Hartford. Have actually just transitioned down to D3 from D1. They are going to be a really interesting matchup. They actually played last year, and Colby ran out 2-1 winners, so this could be an interesting chance for them to prove their worth once again against a top-quality opponent.
Yep, and as you guys said, a lot of exciting matchups coming up. This one's in the books. The rest is still unwritten. Thank you for joining us. Tufts University versus Colby College Mules. We'll see you around. Stay home safely.